Welcome back to the MinnesotaBlack RobeRegiment channel. As always, I appreciate subscriptions. I appreciate all the views. I appreciate pushback, feedback, critiques, comments, criticism, you name it. I appreciate it. This is going to be the second installment of Casual Cognitive Dissonance. This event is going to take place in Albert Lea on January 3rd of 2021. I attended a rally in Albert Lea for a freedom event, a constitutionalist event, and these individuals showed up to counter protest. Now, I initially walked over because I couldn't tell if they were counter protesting. I could tell they were wearing masks, but quite a few people at the rally were actually wearing masks, facial coverings. We don't have an issue with that. We don't run around belittling people for wearing masks. There was an individual before the rally started and before the march started that was yelling at people, and we approached him, and one of the directors or organizers of the event asked him to refrain from that or to not participate with our event. We don't want to belittle people for doing what they seem to be the best thing for them when it comes to their health. So there were people at the rally that were wearing facial coverings. So I didn't know for sure if these people were just looky-loos or if they were counter-protesters, if they were in support of what we were doing. So I went over to get a good look, and I saw that their sign said, "Thank you, Governor Walz," and said some other things. And so I was going to walk by to just get a good look at what the sign said. And I wasn't going to say anything until I got up to them and they started to scatter like criminals in front of a cop. You all know what that looks like, or what it should look like. And that's where you're going to see the engagement begin. And I'm going to stop as we're going through this to break down some of what you see happening. Okay, so this is where I'm starting to walk by, and I'm just getting my GoPro turned on because I could tell that there was something off, besides the fact that they were counter protesting us. And I turned it on because they were scattering, and that's when you hear me ask, "Are you scared of me?"
Yeah, are you scared of me? But we're outside, right?
This gal right here said, "We just like to be safe." Notice I'm well back, more than 6 feet away.
So you're okay with businesses being destroyed? You're okay with businesses being destroyed?
So I'm going back at this point because I was going to walk down the street and I was going to cross, about halfway over and then go back down. And I decided to come back and engage because that position that they're taking with the signs that they're holding, like "Thank you, Governor Walz," and all of this, what they're saying is that they're okay with small businesses being destroyed. And they'll say that. And so I'm going to push on that, and I push on it real heavily here.
I'm okay with the human body fighting through immunity with a virus that has a better than 99% survival rate. 99% survival rate. People are losing their livelihoods. People are losing their livelihoods.
Okay, so this gal right here, she has a nephew that owns a bar, and hear what she says here.
Okay. Okay.
So her nephew owns a bar. He thought about defying the order, and he's going to make it. Now, what she just did here is a couple of different logical fallacies, and this is really where the casual cognitive dissonance comes in. This is an appeal to for lack of better terminology, it's kind of a form of appeal to authority, because what she's saying is my nephew is going to be okay. So therefore, if he can be okay, everybody else should be okay. And it's also a form of the bandwagon appeal, and in saying, well, everybody should jump on this bandwagon because my nephew is going to be fine. And that logical fallacy is actually pretty dangerous, because just because everyone jumps aboard doesn't mean it's right.
So great. So he does. What about the ones that don't? And what? We honor the Constitution. The Constitution's the highest.
Okay, and this is another logical fallacy right here. This is here. Let me look that up real quick. I know what it is, but I want to make sure I get it right. It's a false dilemma fallacy. Okay, so the false dilemma fallacy is basically it's one or the other. Now they're advocating. So yes, I said, so you're okay with businesses being destroyed. That's literally the position they have to take to want businesses to be shut down. And in particular, small businesses, bars, restaurants, taverns, wedding venues, things like that. That they have to be okay with that. For me to be okay with businesses being open, even with some restrictions, does not mean I'm okay with people dying. They're placing a value on people, which is fine. Everybody has an intrinsic value. Human beings are made in the image of God. They have an intrinsic value. However, the position that they're taking is very dangerous, because for them it's either or. If you don't shut it down, then you want people to die. Do you see that? See what they had going on here? And there again, it's called false dilemma fallacy.
No, people die every day. The government's job is not to protect us. The government's job is.
So here, there again, this is their focus. The only thing that's on their mind is in their eyes is saving lives. Okay, saving lives. Now there is no evidence, okay, at all, that the shutdown has saved any lives. None. And that is bore out by the fact, and there again, this is where the casual cognitive dissonance comes in. These people are vapid. They have no idea just how disconnected they are. The dissonance is in that they're okay with Walmart being open. They're okay with Hy-Vee being open. They're okay with Menards. They're okay with Home Depot and Lowe's and the mall and everything else being open and being crammed, packed full of people. But small businesses are dangerous. They're dangerous. This is the cognitive dissonance, okay? And they go right past my assertion, which is true. The government's job is not to protect us from all harm. The government's job is not to keep us from risk, period. That's not what the government's there for. It doesn't exist to keep us from having risk in our lives.
Every day too.
But that's no, it's not. No, because this is no.
Now, I also want to point out, I'm staying in my position. I'm not moving. I'm kind of shifting a little bit, kind of focusing a little bit, but I'm not changing my actual position. The very people who are screaming at me to stay back, and they I shouldn't say screaming. They didn't scream. Well, you'll see here. But this woman is angry and she's approaching me. She is mad as a hornet. She is fit to be tied, that I just said, because it's not that lives aren't important, but it's not the government's job to keep us from risk, especially from a virus that has a better than 99.9% survival rate. Here again, the cognitive dissonance, and it's casual because they just blow right by it. They don't care how disconnected they are.
Everybody, the government's job is not to keep us from dying.
And so this woman's going to break out one of my favorites right here. Ready for this?
No. That's not even the same argument. Is driving a right? Is driving a right? Is driving a constitutionally enshrined right? Is driving a constitutionally enshrined right?
There again, and this is, now there, it's a juxtaposition. Oh, well, if driving's not a constitutionally enshrined right, then owning a bar isn't. And here's my answer.
Oh, the pursuit of livelihood is. And owning a bar is a pursuit of livelihood.
What I'm saying, if I drive down the freeway 90 miles an hour, you're gonna.
Is driving a constitutionally enshrined right? It's not. It's not.
So the older guy that was standing right here went over and he's going, officer, officer, can you make this guy go away? Here, we'll go back a little bit.
Drive down the freeway 90 miles an hour, you're gonna.
Is driving a constitutionally enshrined right? It's not. It's not. I'm not harassing them. I'm having a conversation.
Notice now the officer's been pulled in. This guy's over here lying on me to beat the band. He's a liar. Well, he's a Marxist. He's a leftist. So of course he's gonna lie. I haven't approached them since I took up this position. This lady has been closing the distance on me. And this lady over here has been closing the distance on me. This male Karen right here went over to sick the police on me because I'm a big, bad, scary man. And they demonstrated that earlier when I walked by without a fish covering on outside, mind you. And they all pushed over. Now, also keep in mind that the mask mandate in Minnesota doesn't say you have to be masked up outside. The mask mandate doesn't say that it's a requirement for me to wear a mask if you want me to. What the mask mandate says is if you're going to be in social groups, social gatherings, especially inside, it's a mandate, according to the governor's edict, that you have your face covered, okay? And maintain social distancing. If you're outside and you aren't going to maintain social distancing, then you have to wear a mask. Now, I would like to point out, these folks that are freaking out on me right here, they aren't social distancing. These two are not 6 feet apart. She is not 6 feet apart from her. She is not 6 feet apart from the young lady that's over here. This man was over here in between them. They're not 6 feet apart. Casual cognitive dissonance months, not to mention the fact that these are the exact same kind of people who hate law enforcement, and every single time there's a law enforcement involved shooting or death, or really kind of any kind of law enforcement action at all, are going to scream about defunding the police. Who do they turn to? Now they want the police to defend them, the very people that they would want to defund. Now, do I know that for a fact? No. But the kind of people that would stand out here and say the things that they're saying are the defund the police types, period. End of story. That's what they are. I guarantee it. Now, I will buy that man a steak dinner if he can demonstrate to me that he's never badmouthed law enforcement for using force on a person that's considered a minority, ever. I will buy him a steak dinner. Better yet, I will go and I will take him to the interchange in Albert Lea and buy him a sandwich and a cup of coffee or a glass of wine or a beer, period. I'll do it. I will do it. In fact, I'll take them all out for coffee and a sandwich at the interchange if any one of them can prove that they have never said defund the police or critique the police for being racist or critique the police for being fascist or critique the police for being white supremacist or being guilty of implicit bias. Everyone save the young lady. All right. Now, this is where I'm going to get a little heated. So stand by, because this guy becomes the biggest idiot I have dealt with in weeks. And I mean that. What he says here is so completely asinine. If it doesn't make you angry, there is something wrong with you. Notice he's just saying stay back. I have been. They're the ones that are approaching me.
I don't have to. Why? This is what Marxism does to people right here. You're Marxist. You're Marxist.
And I mean it. That is, they are Marxists. They may not know they're Marxist, but they're so thoroughly indoctrinated into Marxism that they think that government is their protector. They think that government, the role of government, they think that what should be happening is that government should be defending them at all times from everything that could possibly be harmful. Period. Lives really matter to them. Except I guarantee you, to a man, they're all pro-abortion. I guarantee you. So no, I don't feel bad for calling them Marxist. It's what they are.
You are responsible for the downfall of this country. You vote for people like Wall. No, we're the Patriots. No, I am. No. You are Marxist. This is what's wrong with this country right here. You're terrified sheep. You're terrified sheep.
Notice again, not social distancing. They're not social distancing. They don't care about social distancing. They care about using it as a weapon. Casual cognitive dissonance, right?
Terrified sheep. Terrified sheep.
I'm a sheep because I follow what? I follow the Constitution. I adhere to the Constitution. I'm not a sheep. Sheep follows the leader, in this case, Commissar Walls of the People's State of Minnesota. When he says to do something, you do it because he must be right, because gosh darn it, he's the commissar. Now, the man is about to really catch it here.
I'm literally disobeying an unconstitutional order from a man who has, no.
While you're desecrating the Union soldiers over here,
Did you hear that? I'm, and everybody else is over there desecrating the Union soldiers. If that isn't cognitive dissonance for you, I don't know what it is. Union soldiers, and quite frankly, the Confederate soldiers, all died for what they believed in, which is the liberty of the people.
I'm a veteran, sir. I'm a veteran, sir. I'm a veteran, sir.
He said there's people flying Confederate flags over there, and they're not. No, I'm a veteran and a patriot of the United States. How dare you attack me and call me a Confederate? No, I am with patriots. You are Marxist sheep, every single one of you. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why intellect and reasoning are incredibly important. This is why we need to be teaching it in our schools, government schools, private schools, Montessori's, whatever. We need to be teaching intellect. We need to be teaching reasoning. We need to be teaching cognitive process. These folks do not understand cognitive process. They are incapable of engaging in a way that demonstrates that they are able to put thoughts together logically. Period. They can't do it. And so what they do is they resort to logical fallacies, ad hominems. You're a Confederate. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. That's demonstrably untrue. And you're desecrating the graves of that's a straw man. That's a straw man fallacy. No, I'm not. It's easy for you to say that and then build that straw man up that you're desecrating the graves of the Union soldiers. Well, why pick the Union soldiers? I don't know. Why not do what everybody else has done, other than they've probably been given talking points to not use the term Nazi anymore. So here's the deal. These people are nuts. They're nuts. They're just not nuts in a mental health way. They're nuts because they're just going to do whatever they're told to do by the governor. Because the government knows best. And they've forgotten their place. And they've forgotten that you aren't to just trust government blindly. This is why I'm doing this series of casual cognitive dissonance. They're just disconnected. They just have no idea how wrong they are. And it has to end. As always, 6 Emperor Tyrants.